Join us as Sparky embarks on a thrilling adventure down the slippery slopes, brought to you by Perry Ross. All stories by Perry Ross include morals and values for character development through listening and reading. If you would like to read the story while listening and watching, then turn on the subtitles. No part of this publication may be reproduced, distributed, or transmitted in any form or by any means, including photocopying, recording, or other electronic or mechanical methods without the prior written permission of the publisher, except in the case of brief quotations embodied in critical reviews and certain other non-commercial uses permitted by copyright law. Chapter 1. The Shiny Slide. Sparky the Orange Squirrel adjusted his cap and looked down the muddy hill in Whisper Woods. The air smelled fresh, and the sun made the wet ground shine. He spotted a shiny slide glinting under the warm light, stretching down toward shadows. The slide seemed to invite him to race down, but the hill looked slick and tricky. Sparky's whiskers twitched as he tilted his head, curious about where it might lead. He crouched slightly, gripping the ground with his paws while his tail flicked behind him. Something about that slide felt both exciting and a little bit dangerous. Sparky remembered slipping there last spring when the hill was wet. He had rolled down so fast that he landed in a puddle with a splash. His tail twitched with worry as the memory made his heart beat quicker. He stepped closer to the edge, feeling the mud shift under his paws. The shiny slide looked steeper than he first thought. He breathed slowly and tried to imagine getting to the bottom without falling. The whispering wind carried the scent of damp earth, making him think about whether this adventure was worth the risk he felt inside. Rusty Pebbles, the red-brown chipmunk in a blue hat, called from a mossy log nearby. "Careful, Sparky! That slope is tricky." Rusty's voice was firm but friendly, echoing through the trees. Sparky turned his head and saw Rusty perched with one paw raised, like he was warning him away. The chipmunk's eyes were wide, watching every move Sparky made. Sparky's paws dug into the soft ground while he listened. He knew Rusty meant well, but that shiny slide still pulled at his thoughts. The hill stood between him and something unknown, and Sparky felt caught between caution and curiosity. Sparky nodded to Rusty but kept staring at the hill. The light bounced off the slick surface, making it look like a ribbon of silver. He wondered if something exciting waited at the bottom, hidden in the shade. His tail swished slowly as he imagined treasures or strange creatures below. The forest around him was quiet, except for the gentle rustle of leaves. He tilted his head to get a better view, but the slope dropped away too sharply to see far. The mystery of what lay at the end made his paws itch to move closer. A rustle came from the nearby bushes, breaking the stillness. Sparky's ears perked as twigs snapped and leaves shook. Giggles, the brown groundhog in a bright yellow coat, popped out with a wide grin. His cheeks were round, and his eyes sparkled with mischief. "Hey, Sparky!" he called, brushing bits of leaf from his sleeves. Giggles stepped into the sunlight, tilting his head toward the hill. His coat flapped a little in the breeze as he looked at the shiny slide. The groundhog's sudden arrival made the air feel lighter and more playful in the quiet woods. "Let's try it together," Giggles said, bouncing toward the hill without a hint of fear. His boots squished into the mud as he took quick steps. Sparky blinked, surprised by his friend's boldness. Giggles stopped at the slope and tapped it with one paw, grinning like it was a game. "It's perfect for sliding," he added. Sparky glanced at the hill again, feeling his heart beat faster. Giggles' cheers seemed to wash away some of the worry. The idea of tackling the shiny slide together made the challenge feel less scary and more like an adventure they could share. Tilly Twigs, the gray hedgehog in a purple scarf, waved from a nearby tree. "I'll watch from here," she called down, her scarf fluttering in the breeze. She perched on a sturdy branch, leaning forward to see better. Sparky looked up and saw her smiling with encouragement. Giggles waved back, chuckling as he pointed toward the slope. The sunlight caught on Tilly's scarf, making it glow softly against the green leaves. The hedgehog's watchful eyes followed their movements, ready to cheer them on. Sparky felt a bit braver, knowing Tilly would be there to see them try. Sparky hesitated, staring at the hill's muddy path. Then he stepped beside Giggles, feeling the cool mud squish under his paws. The texture was slippery, and it made his claws sink in slightly. Giggles grinned at him, leaning forward like he was ready to dash. Sparky's tail flicked nervously, but the warmth of the sun on his back gave him comfort. A faint breeze carried the scent of wet leaves and earth. Standing together at the edge made Sparky feel stronger, as if facing the slope with a friend could turn fear into courage. They leaned forward, peering down at the shiny slide. It seemed to sparkle brighter now, almost like it was daring them to start. The sunlight reflected off slick patches, making little spots dance in Sparky's eyes. Giggles gave a quick nod, and Sparky's paws tightened against the earth. The slope looked ready to carry them fast into the unknown. Behind them, birds chirped as if cheering them on. Sparky felt the air shift around them, the hill's invitation becoming too strong to ignore. The adventure was waiting, and every second made their choice feel more certain. Giggles laughed and pushed off without a pause. He zipped down the shiny slide, leaving a splash of mud flying everywhere. The sound of his coat flapping mixed with the squelch of wet earth. Sparky watched as Giggles swerved around a small bump, still chuckling. Mud drops spattered onto nearby leaves, making dark spots. Giggles' voice echoed up the hill, full of joy and excitement. The sight made Sparky's chest tighten with both worry and eagerness. His friend looked like he was having the time of his life. Chapter 2: Splash and Spin. Sparky took a deep breath and followed, launching himself onto the slide. His paws skimmed over the slick surface as he raced down. A mud pie plopped from an overhanging branch, landing just ahead. Sparky shifted his weight, dodging it with a quick jump. The wind rushed past his ears and his cap stayed snug on his head. He felt the thrill of speed mixed with the careful focus needed to stay upright. The slope's curve pulled him onward toward whatever lay at the bottom. The slope curved sharply, sending them around rocks that jutted up like little towers. Sparky's eyes darted between each obstacle, picking the safest path. Giggles slid ahead, his boots skimming the muddy surface. The rocks cast long shadows, making parts of the slide darker. Sparky jumped lightly to avoid scraping against them. The twisting path felt like a winding river of mud, full of sudden turns. His paws tingled with the rush of movement as the slide carried them faster toward the unknown. Giggles tumbled sideways with a laugh, rolling once before regaining his slide. His yellow coat streaked with mud, but his grin stayed wide. Sparky kept his balance, using quick jumps to steady himself. He could hear Giggles giggling over the sound of mud splashing. The two friends moved together, one tumbling playfully and the other bouncing in control. The slope's wild ride made their hearts race, each moment pulling them closer to the end. The thrill of the slide was stronger than any worry. A large puddle of water appeared ahead, its surface shining. Giggles jumped straight into it with a loud splash that sent drops of water flying. His boots were stuck deep in the mud. Sparky's eyes grew wide as he watched his friend vanish into the puddle's center. Giggles' laughter mixed with the sound of splashing water. The puddle was much wider than Sparky had thought. Mud was all around Giggles' legs as he tried to get back on his feet. Sparky skidded to a stop just before reaching the puddle. Without thinking, he dashed forward, splashing through the edge of the water. He grabbed Giggles by his coat sleeve and pulled hard. Giggles stumbled out, dripping mud and water from head to toe. Sparky's paws ached from the effort, but relief washed over him. The two stood together, breathing, fast, with water still dripping from Giggles' coat. They exchanged quick smiles before looking ahead to see where the slide had led them. "Thanks, buddy," Giggles said, shaking off drops from his coat. His smile was warm, even with mud streaks on his fur. Sparky grinned back, feeling glad his friend was safe. The air around them was cooler now, and the slope had ended. They stood on firm ground, away from the slippery slide. Giggles adjusted his coat and stomped his boots to shake off more water. Their eyes met, both knowing the adventure was far from over. Chapter 3, Cave of Cool Treasures. They stood at the cave mouth, dark and cool against the bright day. A faint drip echoed from deep inside like a steady beat. Sparky's nose twitched at the earthy scent wafting out. The entrance was wide enough for them to walk side by side. Shadows stretched across the ground, making it hard to see far inside. Giggles tilted his head, curious about the sounds. The cave felt mysterious, promising something hidden within its quiet walls. Sparky peeked into the cave, his eyes adjusting to the dim light. Glimmers of something shiny scattered across the floor caught his attention. The shapes sparkled faintly, even in the shadows. Giggles stepped closer, trying to see what they were. A cool breeze drifted out, carrying the smell of wet stone. Sparky's tail twitched as the sight drew him in. The promise of treasure felt stronger now, pulling them forward into the cave's quiet. They stepped carefully over pebbles, each footstep echoing in the wide space. The sound made the cave feel bigger than it looked from outside. Sparky's ears flicked at the drip of water somewhere ahead. Giggles kept his eyes on the scattered shiny spots. The walls glistened faintly, as if damp from rain. Their paws brushed against small stones, sending soft clinks into the air. The deeper they went, the more the cave seemed to open around them. A cluster of smooth stones and tiny shells lay piled in a corner. The shells were white and pale pink, glimmering softly. Sparky crouched down, brushing mud from his paws before touching them. Giggles leaned beside him, eyes wide in wonder. The stones felt cool and perfectly shaped. The pile looked carefully placed, almost like it was waiting to be found. The quiet of the cave made the moment feel special, as if they had uncovered a secret. Rusty Pebbles appeared at the cave entrance, his eyes wide at the sight. His blue hat tilted slightly as he stepped inside. "You found something amazing," he said, looking at the shells and stones. Sparky waved him over, eager to share the find. Rusty's paws touched the smooth stones and he nodded with approval. The cave seemed brighter with another friend there. His presence added to the excitement of their discovery. Tilly Twigs joined them, her purple scarf trailing on the damp ground. She stepped carefully into the cave, eyes scanning the walls and floor. "It's beautiful in here," she said softly. Sparky smiled as she bent to look closer at the shells. Giggles waved at her, still grinning from their muddy slide. The four friends now stood together, the treasures in front of them shining faintly, the cool air wrapped around them in a peaceful hush. Chapter 4. Brave hearts shine together. They touched the stones, feeling their cool, smooth shapes under their paws. The shells were light and delicate, almost whispering when moved. Sparky ran his paw over a perfect round stone. Giggles held a shell up to the light, watching it glow softly. Rusty and Tilly shared quiet smiles as they explored the pile. The simple act of holding the treasures made them feel connected to the adventure. It was a moment they all wanted to remember. Giggles laughed. "This was worth the muddy slide." His voice bounced off the cave walls, echoing like a playful shout. Sparky chuckled and nodded in agreement. Rusty's smile grew until he giggled at the sound. The laughter filled the cave, making it feel less mysterious and more friendly. The treasures seemed even brighter under the glow of their joy. The slide's slippery challenge now felt like a proud memory. Sparky smiled, feeling proud they had faced the slope without turning back. His cap sat slightly askew, but he didn't care. Giggles' coat still had muddy streaks, yet his grin was wide. Rusty and Tilly stood close, their eyes warm with shared excitement. The shiny slide had tested them, but they had made it. The moment felt like a victory, more than just finding treasures. Courage had carried them down and through the cave. Rusty Pebble said, "You turned a slip into a brave flip today." Sparky laughed at the clever words. Giggles gave a playful bow, still muddy, but happy. Tilly clapped her paws together in agreement. The cave seemed to nod with them, its walls echoing their voices softly. Sparky's chest felt warm at the thought. The adventure had changed the way he saw the slippery hill. The friends carried a few shells outside, the sun warming their wet fur. Sparky held a smooth stone close, feeling its weight. Giggles balanced a shell in his paw, careful not to drop it. Rusty and Tilly walked side by side, chatting quietly. The light outside felt brighter after the cave's cool shadows. They stepped over roots and soft moss, heading toward the path home. As they walked home through Whisper Woods, Sparky knew courage made the adventure shine brightest. The muddy slide no longer seemed scary in his memory. Giggles hummed a tune, swinging his arms happily. Rusty and Tilly followed, each carrying a small treasure. The trees whispered around them, as if telling their story to the forest. Sparky's cap bobbed with his steps, and his tail swayed in contentment. The day had given them more than treasures. It had given them bravery,